Welcome in, everybody, to the Centier Bank studio. Michael Brandner here for the Region Football Wrap-Up Show, along with the sports director, Mike DeWan. Mike, always appreciate working with you. I'm trying to keep it crispy over here. How are you doing this evening?
Never better, especially when you're on the RSN Wrap-Up Show with the one and the only Michael Brandner. Michael, a great night of football. Again, a trophy round, of course. But if you were a Region football fan, tonight may not have been the night for you. A little bit of a couple disappointments. But that's the beauty of sports. You're either on one side of the coin or the other, and tonight was not a night for the Region. A lot of scores to go through, Michael. Again, congrats to all the teams, but again, with us being from the Region Sports Network, it's one of those nights, what can you say?
Yeah, it happens. We talk about every given Friday night. Half the teams are going to win, half the teams are going to lose, unfortunately. Those halves all happen to belong to a lot of the Region teams. So let's just roll through it. One team from Northwest Indiana-ish, the North Judson Blue Jays did get the win. They are moving on to Indianapolis next week. They got the win 46-0 over the Starfires of South Adams. We're getting now that you get further and further in the tournament, you are getting some great mascots for some of these schools. But the Blue Jays are moving on and going to Indianapolis. And if you were listening to Doug Nelson earlier in the season, he said buy stock in this team, and your investments are looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, he might be rich come 1 week time. Shout out Doug Nelson now, who's in basketball season as that the rock's starting to turn over there for that side of things. But North Judson, believe it or not, it was scoreless at the end of the first. North Judson usually hangs a couple touchdowns at this given time, so we kind of saw the score coming in, and not concerned, but definitely out of their element. And North Judson obviously hung 24 in the second, got that score up to 38, put the running clock on, scored one more, added insult to injury. North Judson, again, believe it or not, this program's making history. I want to say it's their first semi-state title since 1986. This program is obviously doing some great things, and it seems like they've been doing it for quite some time. 14-0, their best start, I want to say, since I think in program history, if not a long time since then. These guys can run the football very, very well. They have 3 1,000-plus yard rushers. North Judson, stock is definitely bought, and it should be bought if it hasn't been bought now. Excited to see who they face up, which that'll be the Providence Pioneers. Coming again, I think they'll play. What is that? I think the evens now are on the Friday next week, and then the odd classes are on the Saturday. So they'll kick off Saturday's action.
That's what we saw on the internet, at least. So we're kind of sticking to that schedule at least. And you said they're taking on the Providence Pioneers. They won 35-30 over South Putnam Eagles. So it'll be North Judson against the Providence Pioneers in the Class 1A for the Indiana State football championship. And now we move over to Class 2A. You've got Adams Central, the Flying Jets, who are flying high tonight. They won 20-13 over the Andrean 59ers. So one of those region teams that unfortunately has found its end here in 2024.
Yeah, I got to give a big shout out to Chris Skinner and Andrean first and foremost. This is a team that, again, 3 wins last year. They went winless in the playoffs. Confidence, although Andrean is the culture, it has been built, the winning culture, and there's probably a lot of expectations. Still coming off of a 3-win season, not making any noise in the playoffs, it takes a little bit of a hit, and obviously your confidence kind of rattles low with those players, and obviously to play up until this semi-state position, I got to give Andrean their flowers. But a little bit about Adams Central. We'll see this with the team we'll mention later in the show, but Adams Central, again, triple option team. They're not throwing the ball much. They will, and it'll probably be effective since you're trying to stuff that run. But Andrean, again, with running teams like this, it just chews the clock. And Andrean, they got off to that slow start, only 3 points in the first half. Eventually got that total up to 13 with some late scores. But you cannot start slow against these run-heavy teams like Adams Central. Again, they're pounding the rock. They got a sophomore quarterback that has so much poise, and he showed us a lot tonight. But again, they're limiting opportunities for an offense. And again, when you're behind 14-3 at half, it's almost a death sentence, and that it kind of was. Again, the Flying Jets move on. Andrean, though, this team has a very, very bright future. Obviously, we're in the present right now, and it's a tough pill to swallow, especially for those seniors, players like Jimmy Finley, Jaden Holmes, some other guys on that team that have given it their all and just about seen it all with this Andrean program. We got to, for those guys, waiting, they don't want to feel this pain again. And those guys, again, they have a strong group coming back. The Northwest Crossroads Conference, all-conference list came out, and I mean, they just had, underclassmen make these lists. I mean, a couple freshmen as well. Some of that youth caught up with them tonight, but again, moving forward, there's a lot to look forward to with this 59er program. But big shout out to the Flying Jets of Adams Central.
Yep, and they're going to be taking on the Linton Miners, who won 40-28 over Indianapolis Lutheran. Our guy Justin Cole is excited about that because his buddy's going to get to go to Indianapolis with the Linton Miners as well. So that'll be the matchup in Class 2A. In Class 3A, you've got the Fort Wayne Lures Knights taking on the Garrett Railroaders tonight, and Fort Wayne Lures got the win 28-14, and they will take on Heritage Hills, who got the win 42-0 over Batesville.
Yeah, looking at kind of throughout this entire bracket, we could say there's a lot of teams. I think this was a year that the classes have shifted kind of a bit. There were some that went down a class due to enrollment, and others moved up with success factor. Adams Central was one of those cases. They were 1A powerhouse for quite some time. Now they move up to the 2A level, and they take care of business. They're playing for a state championship. Lures, I want to say, was kind of in that 2A. They were kind of floating around in that level as well, and I think they moved up recently. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but nonetheless, again, they always just find a way to get it done. Garrett had a big win against Knox last week, but Lures, obviously, they're always a competitive program, and they're going to play for another state title. And then looking down there, again, Heritage Hills, Batesville. Heritage Hills, obviously a team to not mess with. That's going to be a fun game there at the 3A level.
Well, this guy's never wrong, so there's nothing to correct, obviously. Very close game over in Mishawaka. The East Noble Knights did get the win 18-13 over Mishawaka, and the Knights will take on the Dragons, and that's a pretty classic Renaissance type of matchup for the 4A state championship. So who's going to win, a Knight or a Dragon? We're going to find out down in Indianapolis, because New Palestine got the win over Martinsville 43-7. I might keep my eye on this one just for history purposes.
Sure, I know you're a history buff yourself. New Palestine, I mentioned kind of those classes shifting around. I remember New Palestine was a real threat at the 5A level, won a couple state titles. I believe they beat Valparaiso a few years ago at the 5A level in the state title. Now they moved down to the 4A level, and obviously they're sitting in just home playing a chance for another state title. Mishawaka, we know, kind of seeing their game against New Prairie last week. They could run the football very well. This game, obviously, super low scoring, and East Noble gets the job done there. Excited for the all-Renaissance Class 4A state title.
There we go. All right, moving on to Class 5A down in the South. Decatur gets the win 27-13 over Bloomington South, and they will take on, well, it was kind of what we felt a little bit of a shocker, a little bit of an upset in our opinion here. Warsaw defeating the Maryville Pirates 31-14. So it'll be the Hawks against the Tigers for Class 5A. But what a season for the Maryville Pirates.
Yeah, it's definitely a familiar ending to the season, which we could talk about in a little bit, but we got to give Maryville its flowers first. We'll talk about Warsaw as well, but Brad Cease, again, another consistent squad that competes late in these, again, November times, October, winning trophies left and right as they always seem to do. And again, they have a very talented roster, graduate a couple solid seniors as teams do that make it this far in the tournament. But moving forward, again, it's something they got to shake off, put in the rear view. I mean, this has been just a brutal stretch in terms of the semi-state level. And I saw a quote from Coach Cease, and he said it perfectly. He said, believe it or not, I mean, they're going to judge you with how you do in the playoffs.
Correct.
No matter what, you could have a great record. You could be as consistent as you can be, but the one thing that's going to stand alone when they judge you is how many trophies did you win? I mean, what is kind of the trend we're seeing? And again, this is something that not a lot of teams could say they could do, make it to the semi-state every so few years. But now they lost their last 10 previous semi-state appearances. We thought this would be the one that they definitely kind of get the upper hand in, but it's, again, a tough pill to swallow. Again, still a strong class returning, and with a coach like that on your sidelines and with a group of kids like Maryville has in that program, they're going to be back. It's just, again, you got to keep that culture and kind of build on it. Mm-hmm. You have to have this drive and be hunger to you. Obviously, now they lost their previous last two semi-state appearances back-to-back years, and I want to say, again, 2 years before that, I think they lost another one. So it's been a brutal stretch, and obviously that trip to Lucas Oil has been so elusive, but they cannot let that define them. Still a talented group of young men with Warsaw. This is a team, this is their first semi-state title in program history. They won their first regional title in program history. The last 3 weeks, they beat the number 1, the number 2, and the number 3 team in the Class 5A in the coaches' polls, and you got a Hall of Fame coach on your sideline in Bart Curtis. obviously things are clicking down there. Again, looking at Warsaw as well, they got a fantastic quarterback, Drew Sullivan. They kind of run that run-heavy offense, triple option, kind of like what we saw from Adams Central tonight. The tournament's made for stories like this, and yes, of course, Maryville, we're going to definitely talk about them through the offseason as well and as we get into 2025, but Warsaw, definitely a team of destiny here, and it's definitely a story that you're at least rooting for a little bit. Yes, we want those region teams, and we'll talk about them throughout the course of the offseason. We'll see what Warsaw has done with their head coach and how this program is turned around just like that. It's not something you can't appreciate for.
I would imagine if you're the team that's favored in a matchup, the last thing you want to run into is a Cinderella story.
Yes.
That's the last thing you want to see on the schedule, and that's unfortunately what Maryville ran into. So back to the drawing board for them in heading into 2025. All right, our final class 6A. Brownsburg got the win over Center Grove, 31-27. We knew that one would be a really tight ball game. Definitely number 4 in any poll you look at on the John Harrell website. Brownsburg was right there, and then there was a matchup of 2 of the top 3 teams right here from Northwest Indiana. You had Crown Point Bulldogs taking on Westfield. We thought this would be a pretty close ball game. Really, you could flip a coin,
right,
with how good these two squads are. But really, it was Westfield who came away looking very impressive, and in my opinion, probably if I was to look at, I haven't crunched numbers or anything, but based on what we saw them and stopping Crown Point, going up against Brownsburg here, this would probably be who you put as your favorite for that 6A state champion in Indianapolis next week, because Crown Point just couldn't really get anything going in that game. They had a touchdown early, but unfortunately, that was about it.
It was, again, I'd say a shock here. This was a game we'd kind of expect to be close. 2 teams that are pretty revered in terms of the polls, and that's not something you could really look at to judge teams, but we knew obviously a highly anticipated matchup and how evenly matched these 2 teams were last year. But the big thing with Crown Point, it was, again, how would you respond getting punched in the mouth? 7-7, Westfield scored first, which I think that was the first all year. Crown Point, I want to say the first time they've probably trailed all year was that, if not probably something I could count on one hand. It was, and then once that second quarter started, again, Westfield obviously set up some short fields. I saw some offensive lapses from Crown Point that we haven't really seen all year. They've really played, just solid football, specifically offensively, protecting the football very, very well, and it was a game that all that kind of came crumbling down, and it's a very talented Westfield roster with a first-year head coach who's obviously doing great things in year 1, which is kind of unheard of, a young coach in Josh Miracle, but they have a super talented roster, a lot of next-level guys. Looking at just the recruits, which you can't completely judge a team based off, but Westfield, they got some dudes over there. Crown Point, obviously, it's a heartbreaker. This is a team personally, again, I've only been in this business not too long, but seeing a team dominate like that in the regular season, you don't see that often. And obviously a lot riding into this game, and we can call it a letdown, whatever that may be. But again, you still have to appreciate teams that, again, when they're here, because who knows what 2025 holds. You graduate a decent amount of core. You graduate a MAC commit in Noah Ehrlich. You graduate a running back that has set school records in Larry Ellison. You graduate a transfer who came back, Lucas Simborski. He'll play at Ball State. You graduate Jacob Soley, Indiana State commit. It's a big group of guys, and they'll have a decent amount to replace next year. Again, we don't have to get into team outlooks for 2025. When you have a coach like Craig Bouzie on your sideline, yes, he's going to take that talent he's got coming back next year, but I think being in the present right now, yes, this is a tough pill to swallow for just region football fans and let alone the Crown Point faithful, but you have to appreciate greatness as we're in the presence of it. It's that stereotype. Yeah, it's tough to play at the 6A level and let alone get to the state at the 6A level. And yes, they fall short of what they did last year and what their ultimate goal was. But it was a fantastic season for Crown Point. And yes, there's a lot of congratulations to give to Westfield. But Crown Point, what they've done in just these last few years, Michael, it's impressive and it's fun to see. And it's what makes this business fun to see how these programs just progress over, half of a decade.
Yeah, and it's hard for us as well because over the course of the year, we talk to these coaches, we talk to these players during the week, and then we get to call their game on Fridays. So we build relationships with these coaching staffs, and this isn't just Crown Point, this is all over. But when these things finally come to an end, it's a little bit tough to watch because obviously we want to see these guys have success.
Sure.
And that's what coming from the teacher end of the business as well. You're watching these guys from young ages all the way through. It's hard to watch, and we watched the career of a very talented young man in Noah Ehrlich, and there's so many more that we could talk about. But one that we watched from freshman year at Hobart, making his way now, and now just coming up just a little bit shy of a second appearance in a state championship. It's been a pleasure to watch guys like him, and we always think about, I feel it more towards baseball season. We talk about the end of senior year because we're at the end of the school year, so it feels a little bit more like this is the end, but this, we're at the end for all these region schools, obviously. So a lot of careers coming to an end this time of year, and it's hard to take on. But then you're thinking, okay, well, maybe I'll see him in baseball season or basketball season or whatever. But it's hard to say goodbye on these playing services, and that's one of the things that stick with us as we get to know these guys. We got to talk to Coach Bazia and Ellison and Clark last year at the ring ceremony. So, just things like that from a personal standpoint for us. We will miss watching these guys perform on whatever playing surface it is all year long, but especially at times like this. All right, plenty of credits we need to get to. We had broadcast crews out tonight. I don't know, you know all those. You're the one putting all those together.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out first off to our Crown Point crew. You flew back here from Westfield, obviously.
Yeah, I got the RSN helicopter.
So we say the private jet I think we got now. So kudos to you on the play-by-play. Jimmy McCormick as well was our color guy, battling through a little bit of a sickness. Got to give a big shout out to Coach Jimmy. Justin Cole was our producer as well, and I got to give a big shout out to everybody at Westfield, of course, accommodating us as both coaches as well. Craig Buzia, his whole staff. That's been someone we've been in contact with all year for stats, rosters, and who knows what, and Josh Miracle as well of Westfield. And for our second crew, the Maryville Warsaw crew, was Leo Stoudeker, who's been fantastic all year, just absolutely reliable and as talented as ever. Jay Simmons, the one, hopefully the only, as you like to call him, was our color guy. Another guy always just reliable, awesome, made my job super easy. Zach Sinelli as well, the producer, again, a huge crew of just made this season super easy. Obviously, first season for me, kind of being in this position. You guys made it super easy. I'm not trying to butter you up here, but it's, again, a group of guys on RSN that made this season super, super fun. A group of talented individuals, but let alone just great people. And we can't thank them all enough, as well as, of course, got to give a shout-out to Warsaw as well and Maryville as well, both on their respective coaches and parties, athletic departments, whatever it may be. But, just like that, it's bittersweet to say the least, as you mentioned. Of course, you mentioned the athlete side, but you also hinted at us, again, being in this kind of, role of kind of the sports world. It's we see these players grow up, and just like that, it comes to a screeching halt like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, it flies by. You ready for basketball?
Ready
for wrestling?
We could take a little bit. We could take a few days.
You know what? Go have a meal on Thursday. We'll be good to go. Our executive producer is Chris Ramirez. Our operations manager is Rich Castillo. Our producer Zach Miller. Justin Cole, the sports director. This guy right here, Mike DeWan, making sure everything the trains run on time. He's doing a phenomenal job here at the Region Sports Network. Can't thank everybody enough. It has been a fantastic football season. The communication has been great, but just getting everything ready for every single week. It really takes a village to get this all done week in and week out. Thursday shows and Friday night shows, and people obviously things come up and then filling in and doing different spots. So it's not an easy thing to balance, and this guy's doing a phenomenal job at it. I appreciate that. So absolutely, you were buttering me up. I'll return the favor.
Love it. That's what I did it for. Perfect.
Absolutely. There we go. So we appreciate everything you guys have done for the Region Sports Network, because, of course, you, the viewers, without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. I mean that every single broadcast. So thank you very much. We will have coverage of the state championships next week. Basketball starts up. Wrestling starts up. But go ahead. Guys, have a wonderful holiday weekend. We will see you soon. This has been the Region Football Wrap-Up Show from the Centier Bank Studio on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Attention Strack and Van Til Reward members. From October 16th to November 19th, spend $400 and you'll earn yourself a free turkey. That's right, a free honeysuckle turkey, between 10 to 14 pounds. Get ready to gobble up some savings this Thanksgiving season. Keep tabs on your performance in your rewards account. 2 offers per account, so make it count. Don't miss out on this turkey-tastic deal at Strack and Van Til.
Hi, I'm Crowd Company's Lantern Man. For years, I've helped your family and friends save on their car insurance. And now I've returned to rescue you from high prices. Whether you have a perfect driving record or a not-so-perfect record. Follow me to the Crowell Agency for immediate and affordable coverage. I'm your insurance superhero. Crowell Companies, insurance professionals. Highland, Merrillville, and Michigan City.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
Old Man Winter is just around the corner, and that means temperatures will soon begin to drop. And a region winter is not the time to be left out in the cold. The professionals at Economy Electric Heating and Cooling can tune up that old furnace or install a new unit that can last for years. Your family deserves to stay comfortable this winter, and with 24/7 emergency service, comfort is just a phone call away. Economy Electric Heating and Cooling, 219-923-4441. Or for more info, the website is forajobdoneright.com.
Tech Checking Plus from Tech Credit Union offers everything you'd expect from a checking account. Plus, you'll earn one of their best dividend rates for maintaining a higher account balance. Currently, 4.85% annual percentage yield. No need to choose between easy access to funds or earning a better dividend. Tech Checking Plus gives you both. Visit techcu.org, contact any branch, or call 800-276-8324 to learn more. Tech Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA. Rates may change without notice.
Quintel Incorporated is a family-owned and operated company located in Northwest Indiana that specializes in the reconditioning, repair, and remanufacturing of heat exchangers. Since 1994, Quintel has been handling jobs of all sizes throughout the country. Equipped with the most modern technology and advanced tools, Quintel provides top-notch service. When you trust Quintel for all your needs, you'll get peace of mind and a finished job that exceeds your expectations. For more info about Quintel and the services they provide, visit quintel-inc.com.
If you work with industrial, pneumatics, or hydraulics, and you're in need of maintenance or repair, you need the right connection. For over 20 years, Hose Connections in Hammond has been the premier leader in the hydraulics industry. Hose Connections is a one-stop shop for sales and service of pneumatics and hydraulics. Hose Connections continues to grow their network of industry contacts, which allows them to meet even your toughest expectations. To learn more, visit HoseConnectionsInc.com. Hose Connections in Hammond. Proven under pressure.
Bring the whole family together for a warm, delicious meal this holiday season. Strachan Van Til has everything you'll need to satisfy their cravings. Just in time for Thanksgiving, we are carrying an incredible variety of fresh, frozen, organic, and even locally farmed whole turkeys that will truly make your mouth water. With meat so tender and juicy, this will be a meal they won't forget. Life made simple, meals made easy. It's a Strachan Van Til thing.
Have you checked out Centier Bank's student checking account? This no-fee checking account is perfect for students and teens ages 14 to 24 and comes with all the features you need to succeed, such as a debit card, digital banking, and automatic deposit. Centier Bank can help you start establishing good spending habits today for your better tomorrow. For more information, visit Centier.com/student-checking or visit your local branch. If you are under the age of 18, your parent or guardian must also sign on the Centier student checking account. At the age of 25, your account will automatically convert to the Centier checking account. You must deposit $25 to open this account. This account is not eligible for overdraft advantage. Member FDIC.
Four Seasons Mechanical proudly serves Northwest Indiana, providing quality, reasonably priced, reliable service. With a quality and comfort guarantee, the professionals at Four Seasons Mechanical offer a wide range of services in heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Whether it's residential or commercial, Four Seasons Mechanical is there 24/7. To find out more, the website is fourseasonsmechanical.com or give them a call at 219-756-7020. Four Seasons Mechanical, your indoor air quality specialist.
Earn while you learn from the best hands in the business. The Bricklayers Allied Craftworkers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. That's right, this is a paid apprenticeship.
I'm getting an education while learning a trade and getting paid for it.
The thing that surprised me the most about this apprenticeship program is the respect I've received after the proper time and training.
Classes start soon, so apply now. There are training centers throughout Indiana and Kentucky. We are the Bricklayers and Allied Craftworkers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. The best hands in the business.
Flip the switch, a light turns on. Press the button, machines and instruments come to life. Touch the screen, communicate with the world. Simple tasks, guaranteed results, every second of every day. That's the power of power. And that's the power brought to you by the NECA contractors and electrical workers of Local 531.
We love home internet from T-Mobile. Oh, now mesh boosts Wi-Fi all over your home. Taking a class in your attic, that dead spot is gone. Stream ballet in your man cave, learn to paint on your lawn.
He's glorious.
And now on the road, you can take T-Mobile Wi-Fi with you. Hey, stay connected and watch what you'll do.
Better Beef of Indiana. Hormone-free, locally raised, and locally processed beef. Better Beef of Indiana is located in Valpo at 2600 Beach Street, where you could buy individual cuts of beef completely raised in Hebron. From single pounds of ground beef to filet mignon, Better Beef of Indiana has it all. Visit their website at betterbeefindiana.com. Follow them on Facebook or call the owner, Kevin, directly at 219-508-5797. Better Beef of Indiana, where quality meets value.
Blythe's Team Sports in Valparaiso is a leader in athletics apparel and equipment sales. With in-house production including screen printing, trophies, embroidery, and more, Blythe's can help you to create the perfect look. For more information, visit them online at teamblythes.com. Blythe's Team Sports in Valparaiso, where the athletes shop.
Some see a student athlete working hard in the weight room. We see a future leader learning there are no shortcuts to success. Some see a start to a swim meet. We see the starting blocks for life. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.